So each of these drops of blood we refer to as a layer, right? And the upper layers that are the larger drops, those represent things that are more shallow and temporary, things that have been developing more recently in time. And then the things in the smallest drop, those are things that are more deep-seated, that have been developing over a longer period of time. So if I see, for example, the colon bowel profile that I showed you in the beginning, if I saw that in the smallest drop, that doesn't mean you used to experience it, but you're not experiencing it now. That means this is a weakened area. It's been developing for you probably over a lifetime. And it might even have some relation to genetic predispositions to weakness, right? So a note about genetics, we look at genetics kind of like a bullet in a gun in a game of Russian roulette. If I'm born with a genetic predisposition to diabetes and I eat Reese's Cups all the time and drink diet soda and things, that's like pulling the trigger. It's a really stressful game, but the human body is incredibly resilient. I might get lucky and live to be 100 years old, right? But it's still a really stressful game to play. But if I eat more green foods and healthy fats, I drink lots of water, I take care of myself, I get plenty of rest, etc., exercise, that's like setting the gun down on the table and not playing the game. So I'm not actually engaging it. The bullet is the genetic predisposition and the lifestyle is the trigger, right? And also we consider that if my parents lived, ate, and thought in a way that produced diabetes for them, well then I probably grew up learning to live, eat, and think in a way that produced diabetes, right? So a lot of it is learned behavior. So genetic predispositions determine where the weakest areas are in your body, and acids always settle to the weakest areas first, okay? But you're not bound to them in most cases. You're not bound to the genetic predisposition in most cases. You can change your fate, in other words. So one of the things that we see here is the fibrin connections are missing. So again, what we like to see are these dark rivers, really interconnected and tight, like a cobweb, right? And yours are kind of washed out. They're missed. This is what we call misty cloud profile. And that points to, it's related to all the yeast that we saw in your live blood. It points to a high amount of sugar and starch in your diet, or too much for you. You might eat less than other people, but for you it's too much, right? It also can be an indication of hormone imbalances. Your hormones are fat-based, and so your body uses fats and lipids to buffer acidity. So most hormone imbalances are related to over-acidity in the body using hormones to buffer that acidity. So in order to return hormones to normal balance by alkalizing, energizing, bringing down oxidative stress, hormones can return to normal balance on their own without a lot of the invasive stuff that we've typically been taught to do, or that women have been taught to do, I should say.